Yo, what's going on, guys? It is your boy, Ace Sincere, Young Flacco, Young City. How are you doing? I'm very excited about today's episode because it's a quick dive. We're going to jump right into it.
Yes.
But before I do so, let me go ahead and introduce my co-stars. Brethren, how y'all doing? To the lower bottom.
Lower bottom.
Lower bottom.
Skywalker, you on the lower bottom? On the lower bottom, huh? This your boy Narik. That's cool. You already know we here for a quick dive episode.
Yeah. Something different than our usual drops. I know I've done quick dives before by myself, but this time I want to spice it up a little bit. We'll probably spice it up throughout the year with our quick dives. We'll probably do more shows, but this episode is going to be based off of the first two episodes that just dropped for WandaVision on Disney Plus. Yeah, how exotic, right? Very new show to the MCU, which kicks off Phase 4. And yeah, I mean, this is like a show that's been delayed for a few months now. Not sure if it was due to the coronavirus pandemic or just because they wanted to do some more touches on it and have everything come out accordingly and right, so that way everything makes sense. So yeah, we're gonna dive into that, and we're gonna give our thoughts on it later on. We're gonna touch on our theories, Easter eggs that maybe I missed or maybe Narik missed, maybe that Sincere missed. Right. So yeah, but other than that,
yeah, I'm excited because Marvel is not spoon feeding.
We kind of did a preview on this in our last episode.
Yeah.
What was that?
No, I said I was excited that Marvel's basically not spoon feeding. Like, they're making people think. They're making people kind of just like, we're gonna give you it, but it's not gonna be like, we're not gonna tell you exactly what it is. It's kind of like there's a cover over it, and you need to kind of uncover it yourself to figure out exactly what's going on. So I'm super hyped.
Yeah, and for sure, like one of the things I think people need to understand is, I think more than anything, is Wanda's character for this show. It's not like Iron Man, where, you know, as an everyday guy who just became a millionaire and now he has a suit
billionaire.
On. Billionaire, my bad. Or, you know, and he's not like Falcon.
Who's
you
a
know,
soldier.
she's very different. She's not a mutant. And I guess in this, well, I don't know. Eventually, I don't know if she'll become a mutant or whatever, however they label it. But I think they're called miracles.
Yeah, or
Age of Ultron.
They're called enhanced individuals. So when they were locating Loki's staff, Baron von Strucker called them enhanced individuals. He said, you know, let them go out into the field. And when Captain America saw Quicksilver for the first time, he said that we have two enhanced in the field, you know, and called for Hulk, I believe, during that time. So it was kind of implied that they've already dealt with enhanced individuals before. Right. Don't know if they'll be retconned into being called mutants after, you know, everything's kind of said and done.
Merger. Yeah.
Or, you know, just a little merger. But she is an enhanced individual right now of Sokovian descent.
Yes,
Sokovian.
Yeah, Europe, right?
My wife's European.
She's European. That just
how exotic.
Sokovian. Yeah, the show itself, it's very different from any Marvel,
any show,
any movie, any show. I mean, not different from many shows. Obviously, it's very similar to sitcoms.
Right.
Aesthetic.
It pays proper tribute to quite a few shows, from like Bewitched to I Love Lucy to
Family Ties.
Family Ties, exactly. You get all these different. Right. I have my theory about that, but we'll touch base on that a little bit more. But a lot of people still haven't watched WandaVision, and I'm assuming that's because people are all over the place saying that it's boring, and it's bugging me because it's not. It's just not, again, a straightforward Marvel movie / show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It kind of goes back to, you kind of have to understand Wanda's character and what she's going through at the time. Because like we said in the preview from our last episode, that she's going through things now. She lost Vision. to Thanos. She got snapped, and then she came back and she started to fight Thanos, and then she never really had any time to grieve. So this show is definitely her grieving in her way.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's a sitcom is kind of still a mystery to me, or why she wants her life to look like a sitcom. Maybe because in sitcoms they look like they have perfect lives and they have nothing to worry about.
I think that a few things that we also forget, aside from obviously her brother Quicksilver sacrificing himself to save Hawkeye and dying, but in Captain America: Civil War, she's the reason for the Accords. You know, the Accords happened because she contained an explosion of Crossbones when he exploded and was going to kill Cap, and you know, she tried to get it out of the way, and in her doing that, she caused an explosion that killed a whole bunch of people in Lagos. So she has a lot of grieving that she hasn't really been able to sort out. And I think in MCU standards, she's still pretty young. Like, she's probably, you know, maybe 18, 19 or so in Age of Ultron. Yeah, you know, in Age of Ultron. So, you know, she's a young person who's still trying to figure out her way, still trying to understand where she is at. Like, she was just being trained with the Avengers, and then everything kind of like went crazy. So I thought it was super duper interesting to just dive into the cerebral aspect of her and how she's coping with everything. And we got 2 episodes off the bat from Marvel. This is their first outing in television as far as live action television series from their Marvel properties. So there was a lot to expect. Like, a lot of people were anxious to see how this is going to kick off, and they didn't just give us where they're at. You know, I think that's really brilliant of them to have a show that isn't based in reality, like in our reality. So we still don't really know where phase 4 is at. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration that you were talking about, Sincere, where it's coming from, because people just really want to know, where are we with, you know, with the timeline and who knows what and where, things like that. But I think that Marvel is taking the long road, you know, and giving us a little bit here, a little bit there. And I like this kind of eerie feel that they have with the show. You know, you can tell something's not right. And that is a wonderful undertone when it comes to it paying homage to all of these studio sitcoms. Because when you watch studio sitcoms, even when you're watching regular ones that were created, it seemed like things weren't right. Everything is staged. Everything is like, you know, the neighbors are acting a little different than your normal neighbors would. It's very Broadway, and
ain't nobody asking for sugar. The hell?
Yeah, not only asking for sugar, but coming into your house and like setting up shop and just saying like, "What's up?" Like, that's very, very different from the time that we're in right now. So I thought it was super interesting that they touched on that.
Imagine pulling up to your neighbor's house, saying hi, and just letting yourself in, sitting on their couch and be like, "Yo, so what's good? Like, where are you from? What's this, and this?"
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
So one thing I like as well is that Wanda's she doesn't have her accent. Has a suburban feel. Again, I have my theory on it, but I'll wait till we get there. But with the writing that it came with for it being a sitcom, it was actually pretty good. From my opinion, I like, you guys already know me. I like really cheesy, corny, like jokes. You know what I mean?
They really stuck with like the cheesiness. I mean, again, it's a tribute to how all the other shows were just like this quirky, cheesy, clumsy attitude that everybody has, and I guess they're reflecting that straight into the first 2 episodes with a twist, like you said, Narik. There's a lot of different things that make you bat an eye to like, wait, what is really going on? You know, it's like they're performing, and then the curtain gets pulled back a little bit, and then I don't know where it just gets closed again, and everything goes back to normal. So I do want to touch on that a little bit too. Definitely in the first episode.
Get into it.
Yeah, definitely in the first episode, obviously they come in to the town, they move into their home and they get settled and all that. One thing that right off the bat that kind of made me laugh, even though it wasn't like such a funny joke, was when she's putting the plates away and one of the plates hits Vision in the head. And she's like, "Oh, my husband and his indestructible head." But all I thought was like Thanos taking out
ripping his head.
Like, not that indestructible. So.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Far from it, ma'am.
Yeah. But you know, it just goes to show what she wishes. Right? You know, she wishes that his head was indestructible.
Was indestructible, yeah. So like off the bat, it just this suburban family moved in. They seem a little lost as to how they got there themselves, but at the same time, they're just going along with it because, you know, this is what Wanda wants, and she's gonna just go along with it because
just how they want to.
She's wanted for the longest.
Right.
As far as Vision, I'm not sure if she's controlling what he thinks and says, but it kind of seems like it's actually him. You know, and it doesn't seem like it's, I guess, what's the word? A clone or a duplicate or anything.
Right. My assumption is like, at least when we have dreams, obviously we can't control what other people are doing in our dreams, but they kind of just happen. So that's what my assumption would be as well. As far as like when he's at work, right? And he's asking all these questions like, well, what do we do here? What do we sell here? Then why are we doing all this paperwork? And he's like, well, I don't know. But since you got here, our efficiency's up 300%. You know what I mean?
Has been through the roof.
Production. Yeah.
I think that
so
some of the assumption comes from Vision and Scarlet Witch have spent a lot of time together.
Right.
And when he was trying to figure out what the stone is inside his forehead, I'm sure that Wanda was trying to help him do that using her powers, trying to see what's inside of it, how does it work, different things like that. So I bet that she has a pretty good understanding of what his personality is like, so that she's able to recreate him in a really authentic manner. But it seems like, and this is just me, I got a feeling that the characters aren't all made up. You know, in the show, like that Vision is the only one that's made up. And it seems like that the other people are kind of there. And this may be too much of a presumption, but I just feel like that they're kind of there against their will. You know, and that was kind of evidence from what's her name? Caulfield. That's her last name. She was the mom in that 70s show.
Oh, Kitty.
Yes.
Yeah. Miss Hart. Yeah. That's what they call
her. Emma Caulfield. Emma Caulfield. And so, you know, she was speaking to her, and when her husband was
choking.
When he was choking, she just kept saying, "Stop it, stop it, stop it," as if
she was telling Wanda.
She was telling Wanda to stop it and like release them from like what's going on, but they just have to keep going on. So I thought that was really, really interesting, and it added like this eerie feel to it, because I just feel like it's going to get out of hand really fast. And what I mean by that, obviously it's going to be episodic, but how deep it gets and how like much power she's really, really exhibiting here is going to be something that I don't think we've seen in the MCU before.
Yeah, it definitely seems like she's already slipping. Like in episode 1 with the dinner, that's when it first starts to slip. And then from there, it kind of goes back to normal. And Mr. Hart's like, well, look at the time. And then they leave. And then, you know, the episode ends there. And then going into the second episode, it's pretty much like a talent show episode for the whole community.
Right.
Getting to know more of the community, getting to know more characters. Pretty much people are kind of coming out of nowhere. And it kind of goes back, like, these people aren't made up. They're there against their own will. How they get there, we still don't know. I have a theory on that. Maybe we could touch on it later. But even in the second episode, it starts to break down later on. Right off the bat, they kind of already like they want to prove that they're normal. They want to prove that they belong there, that this is where we should be, and we're going to prove to everybody out there that we're the best, or we're normal type of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, yeah.
So Emma Caulfield Narik is Dottie. So that's Dottie. Deborah Jo Rupp is Kitty. That's the actress's name.
Yeah.
But I forget what superhero or what mutant. There's a theory going around exactly who she is, that she's actually another superhero that's supposed to pop up later on in the multiverse with Doctor Strange. I forget exact. Yeah, Dottie.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of.
There's tons of theories. I think it's only because mostly she resembles this character. I'll go ahead and see if I could try to find it. But
okay,
Mephisto, I think's the name.
I don't know if it's Mephisto. Mephisto is basically the devil in the Marvel universe, and he is very, very powerful. And a lot of people wanted him to be the main villain for like Doctor Strange and like that universe. Dormammu serves him. That's like how crazy it actually gets.
Then I think it starts with like a C or K.
They could do a gender swap though, because like they could do whatever they want. At that moment. But I know Monica Rambeau is playing. She's the black woman that's in the show. I forgot what her actual character name is, but she's going to be playing Monica Rambeau, and that's a grown-up version of the black girl that gave Captain Marvel her colors. And she actually plays a superhero herself. She was the original Captain Marvel in the comics, but they changed things around. So it's like a little bit of a homage to that. So now that she's older, it's really, really interesting. We don't know if she's been snapped or kind of like what's been going on with all of the people that have been shown, whether any of them have been snapped or not.
Yeah,
or
I think given her age that she is in the movie, she wasn't snapped. That's just kind of my assumption, given that she's kind of looks like the similar age to Wanda now, and Wanda got snapped, so obviously she didn't age. So yeah, but in episode 2, pretty much it's the talent show. They're trying to get along with the community, and that's when Dottie comes in, and they're at the little, what is it, like the pool area, and they're having the community meeting.
Right.
And I think Wanda's talking to her later after the meeting, and it starts to break down again, going back to how everything starts to break down. And there's a little radio, and Dottie, she's already little, I guess she already knows. Yeah, she's skeptical. She knows something is up, and she keeps telling Wanda, like, I can see through you. Like, I know what you're doing. And then Wanda's kind of like, what are you talking about? And then that's when the radio's like, somebody starts speaking through the radio, and all you hear is, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Or like, who's doing this to you, Wanda, type thing. And at the end of episode 1, we do get a little Easter egg to somebody watching Wanda. Like somebody is watching the show. So there's definitely an outside force, and that outside force, obviously, with the pretty much the emblem and everything, it's pretty much S.W.O.R.D, which is a long acronym for something that Samuel L. Jackson started, and we got a peek of that at the end of the latest Spider-Man movie.
From Far From Home.
Yeah, so that's pretty much S.W.O.R.D. Pretty much just trying to stop.
It's the space organization of S.H.I.E.L.D., basically. It's like an intergalactic organization that takes on threats that are way above S.H.I.E.L.D.'s pay grade, even, which is hard to believe. But if you've seen Far From Home and you watch the extra credit scene, you'll know that Nick Fury has been there since he was proposed dead. And I believe that was in Winter Soldier when he left. So he's been away for a little while because he let the Avengers do their thing. But once Captain Marvel came out, we knew that he's already gotten exposed to aliens before. In Avengers wasn't the first time that he saw aliens. So he kind of knew that this was happening. and he probably already started to get S.W.O.R.D situated around that time anyway. So that's really cool, because that is going to play a huge part in, I think, keeping everything still grounded, where it doesn't get too cosmic and too like crazy, where you're not going to have the human element that's there. You're going to have Nick Fury, and all of the S.W.O.R.D agents that are going to be used to dealing with these kinds of things. How'd you guys like the commercials?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. The commercials.
So, a couple things.
Random at first. Mike. I didn't understand the first commercial. Obviously, I think it was just a callback to Iron Man and Stark Industries and stuff like that. But the second one, I wasn't sure if it was going to lead to something or if it was also a callback.
Mm-hmm. So if you notice in both commercials, same actors, same people that are in both. Okay. Mm-hmm. First one, it's obviously Stark Industries. The little when you press the button, it makes the Iron Man noise, like when he uses his phasers. Notice that. But also it's the only thing that lights up. So everything's grayscale, but that pops up as color. I'm not sure why, but it's something that's going to stand out for sure. Second one, of course, it's paying ode to Hydra. But I like the first one, it kind of paid like an ode to breakfast, as to where Wanda ends up making breakfast for dinner. You know what I mean?
That's true. I didn't catch that. I can see that. And
then the second one, I couldn't really tie it in together with anything. At least I could think of off top. But there's like definitely hidden things, or things that are going to tie in later on, that those commercials are going to reference to.
Yeah, so the watch commercial, it's called the Strucker, which is a callback to Von Strucker, which is pretty much, he's from Age of Ultron. He's the guy who experimented on Wanda and Quicksilver and made them who they are. Mm-hmm. So that was a callback. I'm not sure if, he's going to somehow show up, or...
I feel like that those commercials are going to be just things that have happened to her. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a commercial that has like something with the Avengers, a commercial that has something with her brother Quicksilver, or with Ultron. There might be like some vacuum robot called the Ultron, or something like that. That kind of gets.
That just gave me a theory for when you said something with her brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the commercials, like they could be memories, or they could be, things that are about to happen, kind of like with the toaster and the whole breakfast thing. I didn't put that together. But other than that, I think we can dive into some more of the Easter eggs and some more of the theories that we have.
Tell us your theories.
So like you just you just mentioned right now with Quicksilver, it just popped into my head when I was looking at the cast. It had Evan Peters in it. I was like, why is Evan Peters in the cast? I don't know if somebody just accidentally put him, but he plays Quicksilver in X-Men, in the other, and the pretty much the new age X-Men.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking now that there might be a commercial with Evan Peters as Quicksilver. Type thing, and then it might be something from the 70s or the 80s, because that's when he was around. So that kind of does make sense, but that's just like a little Easter egg. He might not be involved entirely, or he might.
One thing I'm thinking as well is, if we pay attention to the trailers, he could pop up as Quicksilver for Halloween. You know what I mean? Because Wanda and Vision dress up as their comic book selves. You know what I mean? So when the Halloween episode comes, which I'm assuming is going to be the last episode, could be completely wrong, Evan Peters will probably show up as Quicksilver, but you never know.
Yeah, that's one of the theories that's kind of interesting, a little playful thing to put in right there for Marvel, especially after getting all the rights to Fox.
Yeah, I think that they're going to start to integrate it a lot sooner than we think. And it's not just going to be like a spectacle of like, here's the X-Men. They're going to just slowly put them in cameos all throughout the next set of movies that they do, just to avoid this whole thing. Like, because they couldn't wait too long. You can't wait too long for something like that. And the X-Men have to be around if if you're going to do it. If you're going to do it right, then you have to have the X-Men kind of be around. So we may not get all of our stars of the team, but we'll get little glimpses of some of the ones around. I think like Nightcrawler, and I think like Beast, and just Jubilee, different things like that we'll see where we're like, oh wow, like that's an X-Men, or they're going to be an X-Men, maybe not in the MCU.
Right.
But I thought it was really cool how they touched on the little bit of color and how the color kind of gradually got integrated. And now at the end of the show, with her growing, her understanding, like, oh, I need a ring to be married. That was, why would she know that? She's from Sokovia. Like, it could be something completely different within where she's from, or it just isn't what she kind of thought of. Like, Vision died before they could even think about doing something like that. So it's not something that she thought of. Even with her being pregnant, it was something that she's like learning, like, oh, is this the way that we would have lived life? So now I'm going to be pregnant. And we don't know if her kids are actually going to be brought to life, because we don't know the extent of how powerful she is with creating all of this. But even with that, what I thought was interesting was that beekeeper that ended up coming in, and then she said no, and like really got serious, and it rewinds, and it's like, what is the beekeeper to her? Because we haven't seen anything like that before, or any relation.
I did notice after watching the episode today, on the beekeeper's back, he has the S.W.O.R.D emblem. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was the beekeeper when she was like, no, like, move it back. I don't know if it has to do with the beekeeper, or if she saw the emblem and was like, oh, nah, not S.W.O.R.D. Like, get out of here. Like, I don't want that right now.
I wonder if she's actually prisoner again. Because remember when she was taken prisoner in Civil War, and they had her all drugged up and stuff. I wonder if S.W.O.R.D now has her as a prisoner, and she has created this reality within her prison. So now S.W.O.R.D is like monitoring her, trying to get her to change or do different things, but it's actually using the people that are in S.W.O.R.D to create this, and they're trying to get her out of it. And if once they figure out that they can't contain her, that's when Doctor Strange gets called in or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it could. Another theory that I have is I this is something that I saw everybody talking about on Twitter. I'm not sure how true it's going to be, but Agnes, the neighbor that keeps coming in and out of the house and playing with Wanda, supposedly she plays another witch similar to Wanda, but she's supposedly more powerful, and she's called Agatha Harkness. And supposedly she's like a witch from the Salem witch trials and stuff like that. I don't know too much about her, but the fact that she's super buddy with her, maybe in real life, out in the actual reality that they're in, they're closer than we think.
Yeah, I like that.
One thing I'm not sure if you guys saw, because so now I'm gonna be paying close attention to kind of foreshadowing. One of that being in the second episode when Agnes and Wanda are walking to Dottie's house, she says like Dottie's like the key to everything, from this, that, and then she looks down at Wanda's stomach and she says schooling.
Yeah.
After watching it the second time, I was like, oh, they were foreshadowing that she's pregnant or she's gonna get there. So I'm trying to pay close attention to any type of foreshadowing. But obviously, you wouldn't notice a foreshadowing until the second time around. But I'm trying to do my best, man. It's because they're kind of jam packing this thing, but they're doing such a great job of like making it subtle and making it just flow so seamlessly.
Yeah, totally. One of the things that I would like to touch on, because we also talk about music here at Soundflick, and the music for the show is just really, really interesting. And it's featuring the songwriters Robert and Kristen Anderson Lopez. They've written songs for Frozen, for the Broadway show of Frozen, and they wrote songs for Coco as well. And they did the original music for WandaVision, so all of the theme songs are written by them. And it's really, really cool that they got a couple to do it, you know, because this show is ultimately about Wanda and Vision. So to get a married couple to write the songs for it, I think is really, really cool. And the inspiration that they took from it is from I Love Lucy, from the Brady Bunch, from Family Ties. Yeah. And, they really like the unease of the story. And I feel like unease is like the best way to sum up WandaVision. It's a very uneasy show. Like you just don't know what's going to happen, and it can happen at any time.
WandaVision. Sorry.
Yeah, the Bewitched, the animation, that was pretty cool. Did they do the music outside of the sitcoms too? Like when the beekeeper shows up or the outro visual?
No, I think that they just wrote the lyrics for the music. I don't know if they also did the scoring of the music as well, but I know that they wrote the theme songs and like help with the direction of the theme songs. So I think like all the epic kind of music is like Marvel's team, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Going back to that animation, the Bewitched animation where it shows all the characters and stuff like that. There's the part where Vision is walking through the walls while he's getting ready. And there's like a glimpse of a little helmet, and everybody pretty much caught it and said that that's the Grim Reaper. And I'm not huge into Marvel comics like that. Like this seems like a super deep cut villain, you know, and supposedly he's a part of Hydra, and he also has a brother, which was also, I guess, teased a little bit in the featurette for WandaVision. While they're interviewing one of the screenwriters, you can see a poster of Grim Reaper's brother, which is Wonder Man, which seems like another pretty deep cut to me. So I'm not sure if they're going to tie in somehow, because I know Grim Reaper is, I read into it a little bit, he's the villain to Vision. He pretty much kills Vision's family while Vision is away, and Vision's wife ends up killing Grim Reaper, and then they hide him in the backyard. So it kind of seems like they're going along that trail, you know, Vision and his wife, she's about to have a kid. You know, so far there hasn't even been a villain or any type of, you know, there's something going on, but there's not a clear cut, this is the bad guy. Yeah.
Right.
So, I'm not sure if Grim Reaper is going to be introduced somehow, or if it's going to be somebody completely different, or if it's just going to be Hydra as a whole, you know, that's trying to get to Wanda. Because that's my other theory. I think it's S.W.O.R.D and Hydra are trying to get to Wanda, and she's just stuck in this bubble. And once you go into the bubble, you pretty much fall into her clutches, and you're now a pawn to her pretty much simulation that she's going through.
Right. So to give my last theory, so like these don't tie in together, but you'll see where I'm going. In Fallout 3, there's a mission where you kind of go into a simulation where in one of the vaults, basically people are inside like a memory chamber, and even though their body's being preserved, their mind's pretty much in this fake place where everything's grayscale, kind of looks like the 1950s, kind of like where WandaVision takes place. All that to say, there's somebody in that in there that's kind of controlling everything. So that's why I'm thinking one, Dottie's kind of controlling it, but after her kind of like with the glass scenario, I don't think so. So there has to be somebody in there that's controlling it or trying to control it, but Wanda's so powerful that she's kind of just taking control of this simulation herself. Where there has to be some type of glitch in there. One of the glitches kind of being Dottie, where she's able to kind of see through it. And because you can tell Dottie is very like, she's human and she kind of just goes about her day, but there will be certain moments that kind of trigger her. You know what I mean? I guess you could use reference from like the Sunken Place, where something key happens and then it kind of brings that person out for a brief moment and then they kind of go back in. Because my original theory was one a lot of people had, was that this is in between Infinity War to Endgame. But after the radio voices and someone trying to monitor Wanda, more than likely going off into Reek. It's probably S.W.O.R.D, and I'm actually really hype about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know, like, if this is in the middle of nowhere. It could be in a facility where they used to do like nuke testing, and that's why the town looks like the way it does, because that's when they would do nuke testing. They would do live scale like towns that would look like that, and she just happened to be being held there, and then she creates her bubble, and whoever was in the bubble got mind controlled, or she could have created the whole town for herself. But that there's still so much that's yet to be seen, and I'm very hyped.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for where it goes. I think that we're kind of on the money with people trying to get into her, whole situation, whether it's infiltrated by personnel or infiltrated by objects like the helicopter. I don't think that she made the helicopter, so they had to have probably tried to fly a helicopter in.
Yeah,
and it turned into a toy. Yeah, it turned into a toy now. So that's just going to show how powerful she actually is.
Right.
But I'm super excited for the next few episodes. They're just releasing it an episode at a time now, right?
Yes, it's just one at a time. I'm assuming just because they're slow burners and they kind of have to give proper setups. But also it's only a month series from here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think they're just kind of just laying the foundation to kind of get people ready for what's to come, because there's going to be a lot jam packed in the last 4 episodes.
Oh yeah. So yeah, but overall, we'll probably be doing more of these quick dives. Do you guys want to touch on anything else before we head out?
I'm giving the show a 9.5 as of right now, just because
so far, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the
better shows right now, man.
Marvel shows that has come out, and it's one of the first shows outside of Netflix to reach the top 10 in streaming, which is huge. Also, it's a huge landmark for Disney Plus. So it's good for them. It's good for future shows as well. It's very promising.
Yeah, I just know that Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier are basically going to be on high pedestals now, and people are going to have high hopes for both shows.
Yeah. It'll be definitely different, especially Loki. That's going to be like cosmic, and that's going to be even harder to predict, like what's going to be happening. But yeah.
Right. I have a theory about Captain America, but we'll save that for the episode.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this recap and pretty much everything we touched on. We will be touching on the next 2 episodes when they drop. And other than that, I guess we'll see you then.
Yep, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace. This has been a Quick Dive.